As I said last week, that inshallah today we'll be talking about the importance of respecting parents and what is the adab and the etiquettes and the manners that we need to apply when it comes to our parents. And this is something that we have to teach our children, and I advise everyone that if your children are not here today, make sure you show them this later on, and you are, as a parent, you need to advise them and teach them that these are the respect that they need to show to the parents. And not only that, but this is the adab and the etiquettes that we must show to parents. As it is right now in America, to be truly honest, if you think about a community, what makes a community? What makes a community is many families. You think about the epic community. What makes this community? So many families moving here to this area, to this community. Therefore, what the society has done is that they have realized in order to break the community apart, let's focus on these smaller things. Let's break the family. Let's break the family unit. Let's interfere in the families. And not only that, but let's try to create within the children this understanding that their parents are not so important. They understand more than their parents understand. I know better than my own parents understand. I know more than them, and so forth. So what the society has done is that through television, through social media, they have made sure to put in the minds of our children that family is not important. They're breaking apart the family unit, and not only that, but they're teaching the children, your parents are not important. You do not have to show respect to your parents. Our deen has taught us the complete opposite. If you want khair in this dunya and you want khair in the akhirah, then you will respect your parents. And wallahi, I personally have seen people who have been extremely respectful to their parents, show them an enormous amount of adab to their parents, and wallahi, in their life, they receive so much khair and so much barakah in their life, in all aspects of their life. So that is why we have to understand that if we want khair in this dunya and in the akhirah, we have to show respect and adab to our parents. Now, what are some of those adab that we can show to our parents? I have a big list here, but we'll go inshallah through all of them. They will not take too long. Number one is that when it comes to our parents, no matter if we're young, no matter if we're old, no matter how many accolades we have, no matter how many degrees we have, and what we have achieved in this dunya, when it comes to our parents, we always refer to them in respectful terms, okay? Baba, Mama, Ammi, Abu, whatever it is, whatever you have been calling them, referring to them since you were young, that is the way we will always show that respect and adab to our parents. Number two, when talking to parents, this is something that I have personally seen with my own eyes. Kids raising their voices in front of their parents. A child is not, a teenager is not. No one is allowed to raise their voices in front of their parents. Your voices cannot rise above the voice of the parents. Number three, I've seen this also happening. Parents are talking to their children and the child is walking away. It was a teenager. Teenager was walking away and talking while the parent is standing over there. And wallahi, I walked in, the parent saw me, and he looked at me and says, this is what the kids are today. It is not right, and I want all the children here to understand this, and teenagers. When you talk to your parents, till the conversation is not over, you don't walk away. You stand there, talk to your parents, show respect, show adab. When the conversation is over, then you walk away. There are many kids and teenagers also. You know what they do when they walk away? Something that I know many parents can get annoyed by. They do a lot of mumbling. Okay, just walk away, okay? You have something to say? Come here, talk to your parents with respect, then you walk away. It is not right to mumble also something and walking away. Also, next one, when parents are talking, you don't roll your eyes. Okay, man, here we go, okay? These kind of things, these are things that are unacceptable. This is not something, this is considered as a disrespect. Next one is, do not frown when they're talking to you. Show some adab, respect. If you don't like what they have to say, talk to them nicely. Have a conversation, okay? Have a conversation, but do not frown and do not show any kind of expression of disrespect when they're talking. Also, which is the next one, which is very important. When parents are talking, when your parents are talking to you as children or as teenagers, you're not allowed to cut them off mid-conversation. Let them finish first, let them make their point, then you say something if you want to say. But cutting them off in the middle over and over again is also a sign of disrespect. Next one, which is very general, always listen. When you are called, listen and respond right away. We have learned this from the stories in the hadith, such as the hadith of Jurayj and so forth. When your parents call, you respond immediately. If you're doing something that is extremely busy, you at least answer and say that I am coming, I'm just taking care of this, but at least respond. When children do not respond, it is considered as disrespect. Parents are calling over and over again, and they're not responding. This comes off as a disrespect. This is something also very important. When you see your parents on the phone, okay? When you see your parents on the phone, Baba, 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 okay? Happens often, okay? Let your parents finish the conversation. Then you sit there. You sit there and you wait. When the parents are finished, then they will answer you. You are to wait at that time. When parents come home, if the children are at home, make salam, okay? Not hi, okay? A lot of kids, what's up, okay? You're not talking to a friend, you're talking to your parents, okay? Have some adab, have some respect. Make salam to them. Yes, the person who's walking into the house, they will make salam, but out of respect also, you say salam, okay? If you come home and your parents are there, you go and you make salam to your parents. This is the right way. So if you're at home, they come in, you make salam to them. When you walk inside the house, they might be busy, you go to them and you make salam. When you see your parents carrying something, if you can carry that, you get up right away and you help them carry that. You understand? A lot of times we see the parents carrying something and we just say, we let them carry it. No, out of adab and respect, you will stand up, you take something from their hand and bring it inside the house. If there's some groceries inside the car, you'll help them bring it inside, but take the things off their hand. Do not let them carry things. Also, when they come home, it's something that we have learned. Something I've learned from my teachers very personally, is that when parents come home, ask them, do they need anything? If they need water, give them water, okay? If you give them a bottle of water, open up the bottle of water, loosen up the cap, and give it to your parents. I one time went to my teacher, okay? This is when I was younger. When I went to my teacher, he asked me for a glass of water. What I did was that I held the glass of water just like we generally would always hold a glass of water. You fill it up, and by the way, for the kids, keep in mind, if your parents ask you for water, okay, do not, if the glass is this big, then a lot of times kids will put only this much water in it and give it to their parents. No, raise it to a suitable amount, which is majority of the cup, and then give it. You don't want to fill it up all the way to the top that it's spilling when you take it to your parents, but fill it at a suitable amount. But when I took it to my teacher, I remember I held it from the top, just like we generally hold cups. And when I held it at the top, he asked me that you have put your hands at a place where I may put my lips on it. We have to be careful about these kind of things. And so my teacher, he taught us that when you are serving water to anyone, your teacher, your ustad, your teacher, your parents, or anyone, make sure you hold the water from the bottom. And from that point onward, anytime when I would serve water to my teachers, I would always hold the cup from the bottom. Once again, this is just, we may overlook these kind of things, but this is the adab that we were taught when we were kids. Also, it's important that if you're sitting down and your parents come in, you always stand up and give them the space. Let them sit on the couch, you sit on the floor, okay? But give them the space, they are parents. It's also important that if you see them doing something, stepping in and trying to help out, okay? There was a time where if you saw the parents doing something, the people would get in and they would start helping out. Today, the kids are completely different, okay? So I remember a father was telling me, I'll give you an example. If I saw my father vacuuming the room or the house, you get in right away and you start vacuuming. There was a teenager, he saw his father vacuuming, and he says, Dad, you left something here. Okay? You don't do that. You actually get in and you take the vacuum and you help out. Once again, looking at age this is a very age dependency, but keeping in mind that this is age related, that you have to keep in mind. If you can vacuum, then vacuum, but try to take the things off your parents' hands. Try to give them some rest and some relaxation. Also, it's important that whenever they talk, okay, you must listen respectfully and listen attentively. If you're talking to anyone in general and they're just showing absolutely no interest in what you're trying to say, it comes off as disrespectful. Likewise, when parents are talking to us, and if we're sitting on our phones and so forth for the teenagers or anyone else, and you are showing no interest in what your parents are trying to say or what our parents are trying to say, it comes off as a disrespect. Also, even after salat, when we talk about waiting, just like when the father's on the phone or the mother's on the phone and they come and they're mama, baba and so forth, likewise even after salat. I've seen a lot of kids, you know what they do to their parents when they come, like after salat? They will come to their face, they will come right in front of them. First of all, they should be sitting next to their parents, okay? But a lot of our kids, they will get up on their knees and they will scan. Okay, like a meerkat. You know meerkats? Have you seen a meerkat? He will stand up, scan the whole area, the savannah, okay? Our kids, they will get up on their knees, scan the entire audience, okay? But what they do is that they will get in front of their parents, and if the parent is not, if he has a cap on, sometimes they will take the cap off. Sometimes they will come and play with their hair, okay? Sometimes they will come right in front of their face and say, Baba, can I go to the gym, okay? In that kind of situation, you wait. Adab teaches us that when your father is making dua, when your mother is making dua, when she is, making her adhkar after salat, you wait till they are finished. When you sit down next to them, they understand that they need something from you. So at that time, they will realize, but you have to sit there and wait. We have to teach our kids these kind of adab and respect. I see this happening in our own masjid, and I see this happening in other places also. Also, it's important that never, ever, if we see something happening to our parents and they do something wrong or there's a mishap and things of that type, we should not laugh at them. You understand? They may have done something that is wrong, but to laugh and make a joke about it is completely disrespectful. It's also important that if they are doing, do not correct them in public. This is something very important. Our parents, if they say something that is wrong, it is acceptable, you can let it go, it's no problem. If they say something that is absolutely wrong in our deen and so forth, there's a way and there's a time and a place to correct our parents. But the best way to handle a situation, especially when it comes to our parents, do not ever correct parents in public. It can come off as a disrespect when you correct them in public. Next one is very important that we be very careful in how we joke around with our parents. Every single family is different. Every single mother is different. Every single father is different. What goes on in one family may not be acceptable in another family. We all know our situation, but here's what happens often when we start joking around in our families is that we start crossing the limits. So we have to make sure that if we are joking around with our mother, father, and things of that type, we always make sure that we keep it kosher, okay? Do not cross a line of disrespect ever when it comes to our parents. Next one is that if they see, let's just say if they are, they're going to the masjid and so forth, out of respect and out of adab, grabbing their shoes and putting it right in front of them. This is something that, even as a kid, I was taught this, that you grab the shoes of your parents and put it right in front of them. In fact, if they start becoming seniors and so forth, then putting the shoes on for them. There is no degree, there is no education, there is nothing in this dunya that makes us feel that I am not worthy of putting on my parents' shoes, my mother's shoes, my father's shoes, and so forth, if they get to that stage. But at least we can take our parents' shoes and put it right in front of them when they're about to leave or go anywhere. Lastly, it is very important that also, before we go to sleep, if we are teenagers and so forth, always check up on our parents before we go to sleep. If we are adults, we always make sure that we check up on our parents before we go to sleep, especially if we are in the same house. Do not just completely go to sleep without looking and making sure that their affairs have been taken care of. And always remind them that if you need anything, especially if you're living in the same house, always remind them that if you need anything, please let me know. Now, there are some other important things I do have to cover, and that is that all these things that I've mentioned, these are general situations. These are general situations. These are not situations when you have a very different kind of atmosphere and circumstances within the house. There are people who have come to me in this last 1 week, by the way. In this last 1 week, I had 3 cases. 3 different people came to me talking about that their situation with their parents and so forth is very toxic. I'm not talking about those kind of toxic relationships. I'm talking about general relationships. So these are general adab that we must show to our parents. Now, often what happens is that when we grow up and we have our own opinion about certain things, we always feel the need that I need to ensure that people accept and hear my opinion. So what does the Quran teach us about those kind of things? Imagine if your parents did something or they said something. What are you supposed to do in that kind of situation? If it is something that is considered as wrong completely, what do we do? The Quran says, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. The Quran says, even if they tell you to do shirk, in that case, look at the words of the Quran very clearly. وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. Do not obey them. And then, what does the Quran say? Does the Quran say that you correct them? No. The Quran says, وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Meaning, it is not our job. If our parents tell us to do something that is wrong, we don't obey. But in that situation, to rebuttal, to have a rebuttal and to correct them, to correct their mistakes or tell them that they are wrong and so forth, the Quran says, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيا مَعْرُوفًا. The Quran says, do not obey them, but be good to them and give them company. Meaning that middle part that you and I, we often feel that I need to correct them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not even mention that. Why? Because that is not necessary. Because you have to understand that when it comes to people, the more older they get, the more set they become in their ways. And there is nothing, there is no word, there is no sentence, there is no statement that you can say that you will change their mindset. So why try to change their mindset and enforce your opinion upon them at that situation? You don't obey. If they tell you to do something that is wrong against the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't obey. But to sit there and correct them, no. Even after that, you give them your suhbah, you remain in their company and always show respect. This is something that we learn from the Quran and from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is why these are some important adab that, and by the way, once again, the reason I share these adab, most of our kids, they're not taught this adab. Okay? Even the simple thing of listening to your parents, and parents, I'll finish on this inshallah. Even if you see your kids not doing it, push them to do it. Okay, push them to do it. I will share this. This happened just like 3-4 weeks ago. I was coming inside. So there's a father, he made salam to me. And he told his son, you make salam. Now, this is not about me, okay? This has nothing to do with me. I'm no one, okay? But it just is about the adab and the respect. So the child just walked by, okay? The child walked by and the father said, make salam. And he was, I think, so busy. There was something in his hand. So he looked at me. He was like, okay. That's all he did. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Okay. So he just did like this to me, and he walked on. And the father told him once or twice, come and make salam. And he stood back. And he's like making those kind of, this was a gesture. No, right? And the father says, oh, what can I do? You are the parent. You understand? You are the parent. It behooves me when I hear that parents say that, oh, how can I tell him? There's a reason why Allah made you the parent and Allah made them your child. You understand? You let them know, you teach them, you educate them and teach them adab. So these are things that we need to teach our children, inshallah, that they must do in all stages of their life, inshallah. And if they have this adab, inshallah, they'll be able to teach their kids adab and respect and manners, inshallah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our families long lives, inshallah. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
والملك على أرجائها ويحمل عرش ربك فوقهم يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية